Alright, what's going on everybody? In this video I'm going to teach you Marty Friedman's solo from the Megadeth song Symphony of Destruction. This is one of those solos that never fails to completely blow me away every time I hear it, just with how technical yet melodic it is, and there's so many really cool like bends and timing stuff that is totally signature of Marty's style. It's just an all-around legendary solo. So I'm going to play the whole solo for you first, and then we're going to go back and I'll break it down into 5 different sections. I'll have the timestamps for all those different sections down in the description, and also in the description I just started up a Patreon, so on there I'll have downloads of the tabs from the video as well as backing tracks you can practice along to. Alright, enough of me yapping, here's the solo. So for things I'd watch out for in this section, I'd say one of them would be the double stop on the 7th fret of the G and the 5th of the B. Because for some reason I always thought that was a single note bend. But he's doing a double stop there, so it's... And also watch out for those little half step bends in there. Because D flat and B flat technically aren't in the key, but the way he does it is really cool, where he bends from outside of the key back in. So it gives it this really cool kind of tension and release in the context of the key, which is E minor, bending up from the B flat to the B instead of the A to the B. That's one of those really cool concepts that you can kind of take away from learning some of these Marty solos, is that idea of bending from out of the key back into the key to kind of make some of the lines a little more exotic sounding. So instead of doing something like... Instead, you could do something like... The way I'm approaching the opening run of this section, it's kind of more based on shapes than anything. I'm not really thinking about the specific notes I'm playing or what scale or what arpeggios I'm playing. I'm just kind of thinking of it as almost like a sequence of 3 triangles. So this would be the first triangle, this would be the second, and this would be the third. And I'll put a chart up to kind of illustrate that so it makes a little more sense visually, kind of what I'm thinking of. But that's kind of the way I approach a lot of runs similar to this, or even arpeggios like later in the solo when it does. I'm just kind of thinking of the shape of the arpeggio rather than like I'm playing a G major here or a E minor second inversion. I tend to kind of just go based more on shapes. The trickiest part of this section, I'd say, is the part that goes like this towards the end. I find it easiest to use my pinky to hit the 20th fret and then slide up with my 3rd, but whatever fingering works for you is totally fine. For this section, I'd say just be careful with the arpeggio sequence. For a while, I thought the second arpeggio was an E minor, but turns out it's a G major. And we're going to start with the highest note of each of the arpeggios in the sequence. For this section, at least for me, it kind of helps to just let muscle memory do its thing. There's a whole lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs and going different directions in the scale that it would just kind of be impossible to think of the phrasing while you're actually playing it. There are a couple notes I'm conscious of, though. That pull-off from the 15th to the 12th on the G. There's a couple times where it goes back to that, so I kind of use that as almost like an anchor point for the rest of the phrase. So. And also that 12th fret on the E, I'm hitting that with an upstroke, and for some reason that just kind of makes the flow of the picking pattern a little easier. I'm not 100% sure if that's the way that Marty's picking it, but at least for me it kind of makes that phrase a little easier to hit that note with an upstroke. And also keep in mind the last note is another one of those notes that kind of bends from outside of the key back into the key. For this part, when the phrases start getting a little faster, I find it easier to start them with an upstroke. So. On the very last note, he's also catching the B string along with the bend on the 17th of the E. So instead of just the bend from the 17th fret on the E, which sounds like this, it sounds more like this. All right, now let's put all those sections together, and I'll play the full solo again at 3/4 speed. Now let's round out the video by playing the solo one more time at full speed, but this time with the drums to give it a little bit more context. Let me know down in the comments if there are any other solos you guys would want me to break down like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.
Dance like a marionette, swing to the symphony of destruction.